Hi everybody, Ted here. This is part 3 of the Dune Adventures in the Imperium system tutorial. This video I'm going to go over one last thing about roles, and then we're going to do a couple other things that are very important. Obviously the way I'm presenting this is you stack what you need to know on top of each other, and this game is very important to that because all the subsystems kind of rest on the main system, other than the dice rolls, which is obvious. But right now, let me go back and just talk about difficulty, because I've talked about how difficulty can be changed by traits and either, more difficult, less difficult, etc. Here you have in the PDF where it just states, the general difficulties and what they might mean. When you set a difficulty originally, that is all up to the GM. I want to make that clear because it's not like it's all, you set it at 0 and then if it gets updated with the traits, what? No, you set the original difficulty and then you leave it there, and then you let traits or assets change that difficulty based on what they normally do. So just try to be fair and make it what you think it should be. I think difficulty 1 or 2 is typically what you see, at least in my games. And then if you look at the kind of other games, like what is their set difficulty, it's usually 1 or 2. Now there's certain parts of this game that have specific difficulties set for you, and that's particularly in the conflict section, and we're going to start going through that now. So here we go, and this is very important, so pay attention please to the conflicts section of the book so you understand how to do everything. We know how to do our normal rolls, we know how all our stats and everything we have on a character sheet can affect us, traits, etc. So here's the kind of the crux of everything. So here we have contests, which is the beginning of the conflict section, which we'll do each of the conflicts in new videos by themselves because they tend to be a little bit more complicated than the base stuff. So contests is the crux of all those conflicts. You have to know this stuff before you can know anything else. So contests are pretty simple. All it is a opposed roll between you and an NPC or another PC, whatever. So where you roll against the difficulty that the GM sets, modified by traits or assets or anything else, in a normal roll, a contest, you roll against another person. When I say person, I mean character. When you do a contest, the person who is activating, I guess, leading the contest, like I want to sneak around someone, you are the person doing the thing. The first thing you do is you would roll for the NPC, the person who's defending, quote unquote. They roll whatever would be applicable for them to see you. Okay, whatever skill and drive that would be. And you get there, it's completely against the difficulty 0. Okay, so let me make sure. So the difficulty 0 roll, you just see how many successes they get. It doesn't really matter what the difficulty is for that roll right now. So you roll that, and let's say you get 2 successes. So your successes becomes the difficulty for the person who is the attacker, quote unquote. So that attacker then rolls their skill and drive, and see if they get above that difficulty that you have set with the defender. Like normal, if you roll higher than the difficulty, you generate momentum. If you equal it, you succeed, but you don't generate momentum. If you roll lower, the NPC, or maybe that PC, gains momentum instead. So if it's a GM character, I gain threat. Okay, and so that's really all the contests are. The difficulty could be modified by the GM based on, do I want to spend threat? I could do it that way. External factors, like it mentions here in the book, could do that. traits, assets, all that stuff. Okay, so that's possible. So that's how that works, and that's quite simple, right? That's just a contest. Okay, and next we're going to do extended tasks, which is also very important. So extended tasks are a little different than extended tasks in other 2D20 games like Star Trek. Star Trek's pretty complicated, where Dune is not at all. When you do an extended task, you have a requirement, and that requirement is typically based on the skill rank of whoever you're trying to influence, of whatever skill is applicable. So battle in a fight, for instance. And when you get through that requirement, you're the victor. So how do you do that? Well, you specifically make your skill check based on whatever it is against your, whatever it tells you to do. And if you're successful, usually it's 2 against the requirement, so you would take 2 off the requirement. Now, usually you have to have an asset to do this. If you have an asset, the quality of the asset is important. I think I talked about the quality just briefly with assets. So your asset quality is typically 0. That's what it starts with. But you can spend momentum to increase that asset quality by 1 or 2 or whatever, depending on how many momentum you spend. Well, when you do this, for each quality your asset has in this exchange, you decrease the requirement by that amount. So if you're quality 1, you decrease it by another 1. If you're quality 2, another 2. So normally it was 2. If you had a quality 1 asset, it would be 3 against the requirement. And that's it. Very simple. But the thing is, when you have an exchange between 2 characters, each doing different extended tasks, you don't mix them. One person has an extended task against you, and you have one against that person or character. And this is all going to layer on each other for conflicts, because extended tasks have a lot to do with conflicts, and you will see that. So just remember that there's 2 different extended tasks for each participant in the conflict. Okay. Also, for extended tasks, there can be times where the GM will add to the requirement based on complications or whatever, but there's no hard and fast rule for this, so do remember that. And this is all for this video, so pretty short video. I just wanted to start that, and then next we're going to start getting into the different conflicts and how they work based on both everything we've learned so far. So thanks for watching.